Londoners mock U.S. restaurant reviewer for suggesting 10 years ago you could only eat boiled mutton. Londoners have relentlessly mocked a U.S. restaurant reviewer for suggesting that during the 90s and zeros the only food options available were porridge and boiled mutton. Robert Draper, a writer for The New York Times, returned to London for the first time in a decade and wrote a review featuring 4 different eateries across the capital. In a bizarre introduction, he suggested that just 10 years ago the noble capital featured devotees of boiled mutton and porridge before saying there were only a few scattered exceptions. Mr. Draper complimented the London food scene by saying there is finally something for everyone before diving into reviews featuring Indian and Mediterranean food, despite the first curry house opening in the UK more than 200 years ago. Although the review was published a few days ago, Twitter users have just discovered the article and begun sharing it far and wide with hilarious results. Kate Carter said, "As a vegetarian Londoner, it's been pretty tough surviving on porridge alone. Thank heavens things are beginning to change." Eye roll emoji. Penny Creed asked, where the hell was he eating porridge and boiled mutton? Others have ridiculed the author's apparent idea of the capital in 2008. When Tony Blair was Prime Minister and Boris Johnson had just become the Mayor of London. Tom Hamilton wrote, "I do miss Tony Blair's time as Prime Minister, when you could go out anywhere in London and get a hearty dish of porridge and boiled mutton." Another individual added, "Oh, I remember those days at New York Times back in the 90s when rationing was just coming to an end. We hadn't seen a banana since before the war and Mother used to serve us boiled mutton on porridge. Father would clip us round the ear if we even dared to mention an avocado." Will Humphrey said, "I lived in London 10 years ago. Quite how I managed to live like that, I don't know, to say nothing of the lack of electricity or sanitation. Still, learning how to use a mangle was a vital life skill." Stephen Hill tweeted, "Lork's a mercy governor, there I was sittin' with me jelly deals when didn't I find myself longing for a nice Stucca Lorraine, washed down with a nice Chateau Mouton Rothschild 1970. But alas I live in London so I am stuck with porridge and boiled mutton." Londoner, 1998. Others have warned that entrepreneurs in the trendy area of Shoreditch might latch on to the idea of boiled mutton and porridge pop-up shops. Sam Friedman said, "TBH a pop-up that only did porridge and boiled mutton would probably do quite well in Shoreditch." Joseph Walsh added, "Probably restaurants in Shoreditch serving porridge and boiled mutton now, but not 10 years ago."